In recent years, these programs, together with other intelligence, have protected the U.S. and our allies from terrorist threats across the globe, to include helping prevent the potential terrorist events over 50 times since 9/11.
You mentioned the warrants. Of course, those have to come in most of these cases from the FISA court, Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act. But the opinions and a lot of what happens with that court is secret. It has to be. But after they've made the decision, now we have bipartisan coalitions on both the House and the Senate saying they want these opinions to be released. They think it will give Americans confidence about what's happening, but also to shine a little sunlight in there.
I think it's a good idea. I think given the way that all this has come out, it's sort of in a release by somebody who was unauthorized, and it had kind of a shocking effect because of that. This stuff is not shocking in and of itself. If you look at it, what the committee was looking at today are the two real questions. Is it necessary, and is it abused? And on the need, I think they made a reasonable case. They said 50 cases have been solved. Well, that was a little bit of an exaggeration, because if you heard all the adjectives he said that they helped to solve, and they said among us and our allies, so a lot of them were abroad. But nonetheless, even if it's one case or two, if it's a big plot, if it's a semi-9/11, that's a lot of saving a lot of people. And the one that we heard of was the attack on the stock exchange. There was one about the attack on the subway. So I think people have a sense that, yes, I think the important point is it's a dot in connecting the dots. It's not in and of itself the information that will identify a plot and break it up. But if you're connecting the dots, as we did not before 9/11, you want to have this in the mix. I think that case was made. And on the abuse, you have to have a sense of trust in the administration. I believe there are a lot of checks and balances. The only issue is, if you have an attorney general who, on the Rose in the case and other cases, has trouble speaking the truth, then you got to ask yourself, what about people in position of less authority?
Welcome back to Special Report. It's June 18th, 2013, which means it's time to look ahead to the 2016 presidential election. And today there was a big announcement. This one came from Democratic Senator Claire McCaskill. She wants Hillary Clinton to run. Here's what she said. It's important that we start early, building a grassroots army from the ground up and effectively using the tools of the internet, all things that President Obama did so successfully. So that if Hillary does decide to run, we'll be ready to help her win. All right. It is officially on, gentlemen. Charles, Hillary Clinton, there's a lot swirling around her now, but will it all be ancient history by 2016?
No, I think if she wants a nomination, it'll be handed to her. Obviously, the party is swooning and believing that she's inevitable. Well, she was inevitable in 2008 as well. It didn't exactly work out. She has a reputation of somebody who's had a sterling career. I thought as a senator she was rather good. But people speak about her as a superb Secretary of State. You remember the little tete-a-tete that she had with Obama on television at her retirement, one of the great Secretaries of State. Can someone name one achievement she had in the 4 years? Just one. I'm not asking for three. I'm not asking for Henry Kissinger. I'm not asking for George Shultz. James Baker, a great treaty. No, just give me one thing. So I'm not sure I understand any of this, but she runs. I think as a conservative, I'd welcome that. I think she's eminently defeatable.
I want to talk to you about Bobby Jindal, the governor of Louisiana, who his name has come up many times. It came up, the last time around as well. Something that he wrote in an op-ed basically telling the GOP to get it together. Here's part of what he said. How about we take all this energy being spent on autopsies and focus it on painting a picture for the American public, particularly for young people, of what a free and prosperous American future will look like with smart conservative policies. No more self-analysis. We've had our catharsis. The season for navel-gazing has passed. Charles?
He's entirely right. I think we obviously lost the election if you're a conservative. But the mourning is over. The Shiva is done. And if you're a conservative, you should be optimistic. The main argument in the country, because a liberal and a conservative, is on the scope, the size, the reach of government. Big government, as we believe, doesn't work in the end. If you think it's true, then you're seeing it before your very eyes. Not just in Europe, where it's obviously not working, but here. Obamacare is going to be a train wreck. We see what's happening with the IRS, with the DOJ, all these huge institutions, which are obviously failing the American people, being abusive, in some cases corrupt. This is a time for an ideological offensive on the part of conservatives, the vindication of the idea of smaller government. So stop the navel gazing and make the case. If conservatives do, they will win.
This has been a Sunfish production.